Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, 3-Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with my buddy, Mike Hwang. He's the Asian Persuasion. No, he didn't pay me to say that. He's a GM Open USPSA shooter and match director. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
Good, good. I like the background. You really took some time to put that up.
Yeah. I've strategically moved things around to make my room look really cool. And I'm hiding my floor so you can't see that.
No, mine's bad.
A lot of clutter there.
So, I want to know, your background, because I know we've met just from shooting, but when did you actually start shooting USPSA?
So I started shooting USPSA in late 2018, I think. 2020. Yeah. So, late 2018, I think. So I bought my first gun in October of 2018, basically. It was a stainless steel 1911 in 45, had to start with the Lord's caliber. So I bought one of those at Hoover Tactical, actually, who are the guys that sponsor me now, which is kind of funny. But that was my first gun ever. I grew up kind of shooting guns. My dad's a pretty big gun enthusiast, and he got me into it and showed me all the safety rules and everything growing up. But I was always moving around all the time, and I didn't want to end up moving to a state that wasn't gun friendly. I majored in finance at school, so I was maybe someday I'll move to New York or something. So I didn't want to buy a gun and have to get rid of it. I moved to Alabama, and I was like, this is gun heaven. So I was like, I think I'm good to buy a gun now. And I shot it at a Hoover Tactical indoor match. We hold a match every Thursday night. So I went there and just I shot up with my 1911. Just got destroyed. I got 13th out of 14th. I still remember. The last time I ever shot the gun in a match. And then I bought a Shadow 2 the week after. So I shot production for 4 or 5 months. And then in April of 2019 is when I got my open gun and started shooting open, and I've just been shooting open ever since.
Okay, so when you were with the first 2 guns, were you reloading or buying factory ammunition?
I can't remember if I was reloading for my production gun. I think I started reloading with my Shadow 2 for sure.
Okay.
I remember now. So I was loading on a Hornady at the time. A little press. I got so much shit for reloading on a Hornady from all my Dylan friends, and now I'm loading on a Mark 7. So now I get to look down on all of those peasants. But but no, I shot production for 4 months, and I was I can't do this iron sight thing. I still physically can't shoot with iron sights. I have to close an eye or something, and I tried really hard to keep both eyes open, and I just couldn't. I couldn't front sight focus, which people were telling me that I was supposed to do, but I target focus 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So my transition to open was super easy because you target focus with a dot. Yeah.
I gotta know then, since you're GM in open, do you think it's fair to say that you should be a master class in production with iron sights?
No, I'm a B class shooter in iron sights, for sure. And it's funny you mentioned that because I am only classified in open. Actually, I'm classified in PCC too now, and that's because we shot 2-gun nationals, and I had to shoot a practice match at CMP before we went, and there was a classifier there, and so that was my 4th classifier. I've only got 4 classifiers for PCC. I'm unclassified in everything else, and I'm an open grandmaster. So it's kind of funny, but
what are you classified in PCC?
So what?
What are you classified in PCC?
I'm by default M, but I'm pretty sure it's a 40%.
That's what I was wondering.
I'll look it up at some point, but it's low. It's definitely not M.
Yeah.
PCC is fun, but I'm just no good at it, so it's something I need to get better at as well.
I just think it's interesting that they expect, revolver. If you're GM open, you've got to be master revolver. It's what?
I don't even own a revolver.
I would pay money to watch you shoot a revolver.
I would pay money to not have to shoot a revolver. I'm not really a gun guy, and I say that I guess I'll have to explain that a little bit. But I've always liked guns growing up, right? I've always guns are cool. They're cool in movies, they're cool in video games, and all that. But I'm not like if you told me about this like obscure gun, like I'd be like, I don't know what that is. I shoot like a space gun, and that's all I know. Like I know my thing. I don't have a revolver. I have no interest in shooting it. Maybe someday I'll just shoot it for fun, like one match. But no, that's not really my thing.
Yeah. So okay, the move to Open then, was that like, I'm curious about, did you have influence to switch to Open? Did you have people like giving you advice, or you're just like, hey, I'm gonna learn what Open is?
So yeah, like I said, I was shooting production, and I just the iron sights didn't vibe with me, and I just knew I wanted to shoot a dot, because like even when you like play video games, for example, I play a ton of like video games. There's like a red dot on the screen usually, or there's like a crosshair on the screen. Like usually you're not having to look down iron sight. Like sometimes you do, but like usually not. I knew I wanted to move to it. I bought one of those $50 dovetail mounts for my Shadow 2. Like instead of getting it properly milled, I went the cheap route. And I just wanted to try it out because I didn't know if I liked it or not. I'd never really shot a dot gun before. So I tried that for like a match or two, and I was like, or not even a match, I think I just shot it at the range, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want. So I was like, I'm either going to like pay the money to get my dot milled and shoot carry optics, or I'm just going to go straight to Open. And like the first time I ever saw an Open gun, like a picture of one, I was like, I want that thing someday. And I was like, and I did so much mental gymnastics to convince myself to buy the Open gun. I was like, an Open gun's like $4,000, but like, you know, carry optics gun, like if I get it milled, I have to buy all the mags. And I was like adding all this stuff to it that I knew I wasn't making it fair. But eventually I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to go for it. And it was honestly like the best decision of my life, because I think if I went with that carry optics gun, don't think I would be where I am today.
Yeah. So what Open gun did you end up buying?
I got an STI DVC Open. Okay. And again, that was April of 2019. So it's been like 2.5 years now of shooting Open, but I got one in stainless steel. It was like a brushed chrome finish. I shot it a bunch. I actually won the first major I ever shot was Georgia State in 2019, and I won B class with it.
Hey.
And then the slide cracked like 7,000 rounds in.
Yep.
And like you know, you've kind of heard like they had a rough patch. I still had a rough patch where they had slides cracking like right by the ejection port, or sometimes near the comp. So I contacted them, and they were just like, we're just going to send you a brand new gun. So they gave me a brand new gun. It was a black DVC Open. And that gun was a champion. Like, I don't know how many rounds are down it, but actually just sold it to my buddy, and he is now shooting it, and he just shot nationals with it. He likes it a lot, but that thing is a champion. Almost never goes down. And I said that right before a match, like a local match one time, and then my extractor broke. So like I've learned not to test the shooting gods, but that gun is definitely a champion.
So which goober did you sell it to?
I sold it to Lee Henderson. He's a buddy from around.
I know Lee.
Yeah, you know Lee, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's no, he likes it a lot. I mean, he was shooting an Open Glock before, like in 40, and everyone was like, "You got to shoot a 2011." I mean, he had pretty decent success with it, but there's just a lot of factors into shooting in 2011 that help. Like everyone else has one. If a part goes down, you can borrow someone's recoil spring or whatever. So
yeah. So when did you make the switch to getting an Infiniti?
So that happened I think I got it, I'm pretty good with dates usually. I think I got it in July of last year. So it's been like a year and a few months. And I was totally happy with my Open gun, and I knew what Atlas was. I knew what like a Kai was. I actually didn't really know what SV was. Like I'd heard the name just because of their magazines when I was doing like magazine research, but I'd never really like seen any of their guns or been on their site or anything. I remember we were at dinner after one of our Hoover Tactical like indoor range like match days, and two of my buddies, Chase Lane is actually one of my teammates, Alex Joyner being the other one, but Chase and my other friend Peter Adams, they just brought it up, and they were like, you should go on the SV Infiniti website. And I was like, all right, whatever. I literally remember pulling it up, and that the blue, gold, and silver gun popped up right in the front. And I was just like, I need that thing like right now. And I went from being like, oh, my $4,000 gun is perfect, to like literally building a spec out on their website. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like even $4,000 for like one gun, like a pistol, is insane. But I guess when you just go to Open, it's just everything's really expensive, I guess. But I'm super happy with the decision. Like I love my gun; it's amazing. So I have no regrets or anything.
You don't have a backup gun though, right? You just have the main.
The gun I sold to Lee was my backup gun. It wasn't a great backup gun because it had a plastic grip, and there's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with the plastic grip, in my opinion. Just when I switched back and forth, it took me like a week or two to really like settle in and switch. And that's not something where if my gun went down in the middle of a major match that I could just switch and then shoot the next stage just like I shot the last stage. So I sold that to him with the intent of getting a second SV. And it's supposed to be here like at any time. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for it. But it's supposed to be here, I don't know, hopefully in the next few weeks. I'm really waiting for that call. So yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna look crazy. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna look really dumb, actually.
No, I think it'll be fun. But you and I both like color, so
yeah, it's
wrong person. Like I like that stuff.
Yeah, when I was talking to Casey on the phone about it, I told him the color scheme I wanted, and I'm like, I can't find one on your site. He's like, we've never built one in that color scheme. Like, I have no idea what it's gonna look like. So I photoshopped one, and I think it could look really dumb.
That's
like
smart.
it's sorry.
That's smart to Photoshop it. Like
yeah. I don't know. So it's okay. So just for all the listeners, I guess it's gonna be the base is gonna be black. Like it's gonna be like black DLC coating or whatever. All of the like all of the little parts, like the comp and the mag release and all that's gonna be gold. Just like how it is on my gun now. Like all the screws are gonna be gold, the hammer, all that stuff. But then the scope mount and the mag well and the mainspring housing are gonna be pink. Like anodized pink. So it's gonna be a black, pink, and gold gun. And I think like I don't know how it's gonna turn out. There's no reference picture or anything, so but the good thing is if I end up hating it, I can just replace like the scope mount and the mag well and get a different color. So
solid.
I think it'll be fine though. I really like pink.
Oh yeah, no, you're very colorful. I still like your grip. It's flashy.
The my SV grip?
Yeah,
it's good. It's the same grip and everything. I tried to make it as identical as possible. I think that's pretty important.
Oh yeah. What optic do you run?
It's an interesting question to ask. I run two optics at the moment. I run an RTS2, Seymour RTS2. Those are great optics. I also run a SIG Romeo 3XL. And I run them because every 3 to 6 months they die, and then I have to switch to the other one. And that, that's not saying anything about the optics of the companies. I don't know, but I think the RTS2 on both of my older STIs ran without a hitch. Like they are running strong. It's been I don't know so many thousands of rounds. But for some reason my gun likes to kill dots. And I was talking to the guy at Seymour. I was talking to Greg at Seymour, and he was like, "Yeah, those Infiniti guns tend to run a little like hard." Like I can, when I shoot my gun, I can tell it's like the impact is pretty heavy. Like it doesn't mean like the gun recoils really hard or anything. It's just there's a lot of gas coming out, which is kind of what you want in an open gun. You want to work the comp. But there's a lot of gas coming out, and he was mentioning that sometimes the scope mounts are a little bit harder of a metal, so it doesn't absorb as much of the shock or whatever. Plus, whenever I change to 38 Super Comp, I've got a 9-barrel and a 38 Super Comp barrel for my gun. When I switch to 38, which I just did for nationals, I can tell that load is working even harder than normal. So literally 2 days before nationals, I was out at practice, and the third shot in, my RTS2 died. So I was like, well, I guess I'm taking it off and putting it on my Romeo and resetting everything in. So I had like a day to scramble and fix everything. But the opposite happened at Area 6 this year. Literally the night before the Area 6, we were at the hotel dry firing, and my SIG dot doesn't want to work. And so I had to switch it that night, like Loctite it and everything, and then go to the practice bay and sight in my gun like the morning of. So I'm either the luckiest or the unluckiest guy in the world when it comes to like red dots dying on my gun. So
so you can't even replace a battery. Like it's done.
No, like usually the dot just flickers, and then every time I fire the gun, it flickers, or it just completely dies. And even when I change the battery out, it's kind of crazy.
Solid.
But thankfully the warranties for both those companies are fantastic. Like I sent my RTS2 in a couple days ago, and I called him, and he's like, "Yeah, we shipped it like yesterday."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then same with SIG. They just send me a brand new dot every time. So. Yeah.
life. So, okay, you shot B class, you won a B class at Open. Where did you jump from in classifications to get to where you are now?
So yeah, I classified in B in Open. And then that was the only major match I shot, Georgia State 2019. Pretty quickly after that, I can't remember exact dates for all of my classifications, but I hit A shortly after that, sometime before May, because in May of 2020, we shot at Missouri, we shot the Ozarks Classic. And I actually took high overall at that match. Like, I didn't expect it at all. Like, I literally was just like some random A-class guy from Alabama coming to Missouri and shooting their match, and I ended up winning that one. And I had no idea. I was just like shooting, and then my friend Brewer was like, "I've been looking at the scores, and like it looks like you might win." And I was like, "You're kidding me! Like, there's no way." That was my first high overall. It was freaking awesome. Trip was really fun. And then I remember I hit the week before Alabama State, which I was like, I've never been like a classification guy. Like, I don't care what I'm classed at. I just like to like do well at matches.
Yeah.
So I shot a classifier the week before, and I was like, I'm not gonna sandbag it. I'm not gonna do anything different. I'm just gonna shoot it like I normally shoot it. And I ended up bumping up to M. Luckily, I won M in Alabama State. So I guess I got kind of lucky there. But like, I hit M, and then I think January of this year is when I hit GM. So
Cool.
yeah, again, just shooting matches normally. I was always called a sandbagger because I feel like there's two types of shooters. There's like the accuracy and like fundamentals guys and girls, and then there's like the speed maniacs, like I always was. So I was always just running around really fast and missing everything for like a whole year before I actually started like landing my shots. So I was never any good at classifiers. So I would win matches as a B class person and just bomb all the classifiers. So yeah, but somewhere in there I found my accuracy, and it's been pretty good.
So when did you like make that switch, I guess, where you're like, okay, I want to take this seriously? Or was that right when you moved to Open that you're like, okay, I'm going to do this? Like, did you have goals back then to reach where you are now?
I don't think I had any goals in the beginning. Like, I didn't know enough to be like, I want to do speed first and then accuracy second. Like, I just knew I liked shooting Open because I liked running around really fast. And being super hyper. Like, my friends now tell me, they didn't tell me at the time, but when they first met me, they were like scared of me because they didn't want me to like trip or anything like that.
That was me. You're spastic. Yeah. Terrible to RL. Like, it's just like, I don't know what he's supposed to do.
They would like stack behind each other, like to no, I think the first time I really like, I was always the guy that was like, every time I would see a delta, I'd be like, yes, I got a delta. Like, I love it. I'm shooting major. Like, bring on the deltas. And I think it was after I took Christian Seiler's class. I think it was like a month after nationals last year. Took his class, and then I took JJ's class this year as well. Is when I started to realize accuracy is a little bit more important. Like, there's actually is a numerator to the hit factor scoring in USPSA. So I started to work on that. And honestly, since last year's nationals, I didn't work on speed or movement like really hardcore like I was doing before. Like, all I was doing was trying to get faster and faster. I spent the entire year just working on accuracy, focus, concentration, execution. So like, when I look back at my videos from last year, I don't look like I'm like shooting any better than I was back then, but like my scores show that I've just drastically like improved a lot since then. So
did you keep close to your speed, or did you have to cut back a little bit on speed to get the hits?
I didn't tell myself like go slower.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of guys will say that like you don't like ever like say go slower or whatever. Like, but I was just calling my shots. Like, I literally, and this is like crazy to like think about, but like I literally for the first year and a half to 2 years of shooting, I didn't call any shots. Like, I just like saw brown on paper and pulled.
Free gun.
And yeah, right. Like, I would finish a stage, and some of my friends are like, "Oh yeah, I know I had like a high alpha here, and then like a low delta on the bottom left." And I'm like, it's like I blacked out for the stage for that like 10-20 seconds. I blacked out. I'm like, I can't tell you where any of my hits landed. I just know that like they're somewhere on the paper. And when I finally started to like train myself to call shots and all that, which again was just this year, I'm now able to like call a lot better. And instead of using the whole target as my target, I like the A zone is my target now.
Right.
So like, you aim small, miss small, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that really, I really just worked on all my fundamentals this year. And that just kind of elevated me like a little bit.
So what did like Christian and JJ point out in your shooting like that you needed the most improvement on?
There was a lot. Christian's class was like it's called the Infiniti experience, back when he was with SV. It was kind of like it was a 2-day thing, but it was kind of half training and half like a factory tour and like an Infiniti tour. So I wouldn't say it was like 2 days of just like training. I think that's what he does now, but back then it was like a half and half. And he taught me a ton of like fundamental stuff that I like never knew. Like trigger prepping on an open gun was a completely foreign concept to me. And even for like a couple months after, I was like, is this guy just like messing with me? Like, is this, because I mean, it's like a 2-pound trigger on an open gun. I'm like, what are you prepping? You just pull the trigger.
Flat Atlas limited gun, there's still take up in that.
There is.
Stage, yeah.
And the difference between prepping and not prepping is insane. Like, it is actually insane. And I'll talk about that more in a little second when I talk about JJ's class. But I'd always told myself I was going to practice it, but learning the trigger prep is really hard because like you're going to have a lot of NDs, or as JJ calls them, EDs, like early discharge, a lot of ED problems. And it's just something I knew that Christian told me to do, but I never really worked on. Like I worked on the other stuff that he taught me. But and then come JJ's class, I think it was June or July of this year. And we that was 2 full days of, of shooting, and he made me run some drills, like a 25-yard mini popper. And I just kept missing it. Like I just couldn't hit it. And like, I was trying to do the drill again and again, just missing that popper. And he was like, all right, this time I don't care what you do. I don't care what your time is. Just like prep your trigger beforehand. And I was hitting it like every time. Mm-hmm. And that's when the light bulb went off. And I was like, all right, I got to do this. Like, I have to do this. So it took me freaking, I don't know, months of just sitting like on the couch and like just, or just drawing like when I dry fire and like bringing my finger there before I pull a shot. Like it took forever. I think I'm kind of there now. But it's a concept that's kind of foreign to me, and I would imagine most people, and but it's a game changer once you're able to nail it down.
There's a lot of people too, and I was one of them starting out, that thought that the trigger reset is something that you should like play with. I mean, that's not in our triggers now, but I mean, think about how many people are just playing, waiting for the shot to fire, then taking their finger off to just, Yeah,
and 95% of the time it's not a problem. But every once in a while you'll get that really hard shot and you'll get a little nervous. And sometimes you'll do it right, but other times you'll just jerk the trigger so hard that it's completely off paper. And if you just prep it, it'll hit like every time. Like it just will. It's kind of like magic. It's crazy. I don't know.
It's neat.
It just works for me at least.
So after JJ's class, did he make you like set goals for this year?
And he's gonna kill me if he did, and I'm not remembering. Like I don't know if he made us individually set goals, but he's the first one that ever told me that I was gonna make Super Squad this year. He's like the first one that believed in me. And like after the class, like literally right after the class, he was like, "I want to see you, and I want to see Jacob in the Super Squad because you're gonna be there." And obviously, Jacob made Super Squad from last year, but he was like, "You're gonna make Super Squad this year," and I was like, "There's no way. Like this is not gonna happen. Like it's just." At the time I was just like, I'm probably going to get maybe like top 20, 25 would be nice or whatever. But he kept telling me that and he kept telling me that. And like, so that became my goal for the end of the year, was to make Super Squad. I still kind of feel like I got 12, as you know. I know top 10 for sure is it. I'm not sure if it's top 12. I know the squads are usually 12, but I was also told that since next year is a world shoot year, it might be kind of weird. They might not do like the Super Squad. They might like have the people like going to the world shoot together or something. So it might be like but at the end of the day, my goal was to like be eligible for Super Squad, I guess. And whatever happens next year is what happens. And like, the USPSA is going to do what they need to do, but I feel like I accomplished what I set out to.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So let's go into 2021 Open Limited Nationals. So your one goal, make Super Squad going in. So we've got that laid out. But how did you mentally prepare for nationals?
I think I really just prepped like all year for it. Like I said, most of what I did this year was just like execution focused. I guess I said focus already, but like focus. Like I just needed to like because like I said, when I shot stages, I was kind of just on autopilot. I was like, I need to step my foot there. I need to do that and that. I need to hit this position. But I was never focusing on, I need to call every shot on the target. I need to like get alphas here. I was never aiming at a spot on the target, which is also really important. Yeah. I was kind of just somewhere in the brown, or the white for the steal is good, and just pull the trigger twice. Now I like find a spot on the target and hit there. But all that kind of culminated together. South Carolina, the South Carolina sectional, which was July maybe or June, or May, I can't remember. Somewhere in the middle of the year. Oh, wow. That was the first match that I finished, and I was like, that was the best match I've ever shot because I called like all my shots. You know, I still took second on that one, but like it was close. I shot the match of my life then.
On that one.
Yeah. Sorry.
Who beat you on that one?
So Bill Drummond. But I met Bill this past weekend at Nationals.
Good shooter, yeah.
He's such a solid shooter, such a nice guy too. I actually messaged him on Facebook after he beat me, and I was like, I really thought I had it because Dexter. I knew Dexter was shooting. I didn't realize Bill was shooting that match. I knew Dexter was shooting, and I was like, but Dexter's probably the guy to beat. And he shot before me. So when I finished up, I saw that I put 2 or 3% on Dexter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I think I got this. And then Bill comes over and just like sweeps me by 2 or 3%. And I'm like, damn.
He's a really good shooter. And he's like, yeah, I've been shooting that long or haven't been shooting that much this year. I was like, can't tell.
Yeah. I was like, he shot very well. He shot very well. And then he actually took second to him in Georgia State of last year also. So he keeps putting me, you know, in his second place basket. And so I'll get him someday. I'll get you someday, Bill. But, you know, it'll be tough because he's such a solid shooter.
I feel like I've got to skip then to what happened at Area 5?
Oh, more. We don't talk about Area 5. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was. So, I mean, I think that kind of goes along with your previous question. I think I'll segue into it by saying that South Carolina, I match moded the whole thing very well. And at that point, I was like, I just need to maintain this. Like, I don't want to slip into speed mode again and like just, you know, shoot like a crazy monkey again. I want to like maintain this and get good at this match mode. And so we shot, there were a few months between, and then we shot Area 5, then Georgia, and then Nationals. So, and I shot Area 5 with 0 mics, which for someone like me, like I said, my accuracy is garbage. But for someone like me, shooting a whole major with no mics is insane. And then I shot Georgia State with no mics. And then I shot Endless Summer Blast, which is in Dothan Gun Club. It's technically a level 1, but it's built like a major match. It's like 10 stages with prizes and everything. No mics there. So I shot 3 matches in a row with no mics, and I was like, I just need to maintain this. If I shoot like this at Nationals, no matter what happens, I'll be happy. And then we can go into Nationals in a little bit, but I guess you asked about Area 5. So I shot so well at Area 5. You know, I only made small mistakes. I didn't make any big mistakes. I like crushed it on the strong hand weekend stage, which is where I gained like 40 points on most guys on that stage. Again, like I said, I had no mics or anything. Stage 1 was like our 8th stage or whatever. And I'm only talking about this because I know it's what you're asking about. Stage 1 was like the best stage of my match, right? It was actually the one that I would have won first place on. I didn't win any stages at Area 5. It's not about winning stages at majors, it's about being consistent.
Yep.
Right. I was like between like 3rd and like 10th on every stage. Yep. And that almost got me a win. But stage 1 would have been a stage when I just blazed it down. I don't know what it was. There were like 2 papers in the front, 2 poppers, 1 activated a swinger, and then there's a bunch more paper in the back. And then you turn the corner and there's like, I think it was 2 poppers or 3 poppers and then a couple
poppers, more paper. You had a fucking perfect double 8 on the last target on the left. And I'm screaming like, yeah, like, I was stoked for you.
Yeah, I was just on a roll that stage. Like I shot it like a true GM. Like, you know, I'm a GM, but like most stages I'm like, I could have done that better. Like that stage, there's nothing I could have done better. It was a 9.9 hit factor. And the previous best was like a 9.2 or something. Yeah. And then my buddy pasted my target prematurely. So I had to reshoot it. And we're not gonna say his name or anything. He's a super nice guy, but I had to reshoot it, and I was the last shooter on the stage, so I had to like go fill my mag up and like get right back on there. Obviously, I was kind of like flustered because it was such a good run, and my weakness has always been steel. Like I'm so bad at steel, and that's what Christian did a 2020 Nationals video review with me for like an hour. Like we watched my whole video, and he told me he told me a lot of stuff, but he was pretty much like, if you just hit all your steel 1 for 1, you would have had the same time as me, and that's how important it was for me. So I went 1 for 1 on all the steel on that stage, placed it down. So I had to go back up there, and I was like, I don't know if I can do it again. I doubted myself. Got back up there again, shot the front section perfectly, shot the back perfectly, went over to the left. There were 2 poppers and like the 1 paper or 2 paper or whatever left, and I just literally like shit the bed so hard. Like I think I missed the first popper, and then I had to make up like twice. I had trigger freeze because of all of that, and like basically it brought my hit factor down to a 9. So almost a whole hit factor lower. When I calculated it out later, it was 10 points that I had lost from my reshoot, and I lost the whole match by like 2 points. So if that hadn't happened, I would have had my first area win. But at the end of the day, I should be able to perform at that same level every single time. So I choked on the reshoot. Because it happens to everyone. It happened at Nationals to a bunch of people. So I heard it happened on the Super Squad even. I don't know what the deal was with that, but like, it happens to everyone. So it's just part of the game. You just have to kind of you just got to deal with it and just hope that you can perform as well as you did the first time. Or if you got a bunch of mics and you get a reshoot, then you think you're lucky gods or whatever. But.
Or like when I fell on my knees as hard as possible, and the timer didn't pick up the time, and I got to reshoot.
That's pretty lucky. Yeah. Sometimes
you were there for that. I don't even know if you remember that. You're so not there.
Was I there?
You're on area 5.
I was like, sometimes I'm just like in like a whole, like people are like, you look kind of scary or like kind of antisocial, but sometimes I'm okay, and then sometimes I'm just like, I need to focus.
Yeah.
Because if I get too unfocused, then I won't like do my visualization and all that. So.
Well, and that was the split squad 2-bay stage too, which was, I have no idea where anybody was at that point.
I remember when that happened. Wait, was that stage 2? Because you got to reshoot on stage 2, right?
It was before stage 7, 6 and 5.
That was one of our first stages then.
Oh yeah, I shot the whole fucking match and the whole up top with all the field courses with no kneecaps.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But I finished. Anyway, so yeah, that was a fun squad to shoot on though. I like shooting with all those guys.
It was awesome. It's always fun to shoot.
So you got to share the story of this stupid traveling Lamar and.
Oh yeah. So do I go into like what we talked about before or no? Yeah. Okay. So this is on the way to Area 5, and my teammate Chase Lane, his real name is Lamar. So like we'll just call him Lamar once in a while. We went to a gas station on the way to Area 5, and I find this rack of like stuffed animals, and I'm just walking by going to the bathroom, and I see one, and it's like a Beanie Baby. It's got one of those like tags on it that said its name, and his name was Blue Sapphire, and I was like, I have to buy this thing, and that's because, well, no, I'm sorry, its name is just Sapphire, but it's blue, so I was like, okay, it's a Blue Sapphire. For my bachelor party in Vegas, it's one of the biggest strip clubs in the country is called Blue Sapphire, and I was like, I have to buy this, have to send it to all my boys back home, like it was meant to be, so I bought that thing. There was another one. There was another like rainbow unicorn, and Jake, my buddy that we were going with, bought this thing. And he's like, "This is Lamar now. Like this is Lamar 2.0." Because Chase couldn't make it to the match with us, so he's just like, "Yeah, this is Lamar. This is gonna be a good luck charm for the whole match." So during the match, every time we needed some good luck or we needed some whatever, we would just like rub Lamar's head. We took a bunch of selfies with it.
I don't think Lamar helped at all. He lost to Area 5, and I ended up.
He helped me on a couple stages. He helped me on that strong hand weekend stage. It was like the last stage of the day.
Last stage, yeah, that we ever shot. Yeah. I like PCC for that. Let's just strong hand. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, you had no jams or anything, right? Like that ran.
No, but then I did extra shot, extra hit because on the left hand, it's okay.
No, that's on you though. That's on
I had 95% of that stage. I was
This
happy.
is Blue Sapphire, by the way. And I bought another one. So my other teammate, Alex Joyner, I like shower him with gifts. Like I'm like his like Korean Santa. Like I just give him like I have a 3D printer and I 3D print like little trophies for him. Like you know, we won't talk about like what it is, but like you know, I give him like trophies and stuff, and so I've got something for him that I'm gonna give him at some point. I just don't know when, but he's gonna like it.
Like it. All right, we digress, but I had to get
Yeah,
that.
sorry. Yes.
No, I love it. That was my favorite. So going back to nationals, you've got the mental game stuff down. Like how did you physically prepare other than just matches? I know you pretty well, but do you eat right? Do you
So like you don't ask me any more questions about physical preparedness because there's none. Like I am a fat slob. I don't work out, which I need to because like it's actually like my post nationals resolution to like get a little bit more in shape because my body's falling apart now. And I kind of joke about that, but like kind of not. But like every once in a while, it's the third time now. Every once in a while, I'll be shooting a match and like, you know, I'll twist my body and like I tweak my back. And for like the next 2 or 3 weeks, my back is injured. It happened to me on the third stage at Georgia State. Like literally, I couldn't walk for like a few minutes. So I need to like work on my core. I need to like, if I shoot like a 20-second field course, I'm out of breath. So that's pretty pathetic. I need to, I need that not to happen. At longer matches, like when you shoot an area match and it's like 12 stages in one day, I usually get pretty tired by the end of the day. Just from standing around and walking around all the time. And like, I know everyone gets tired, but I feel like it hits me particularly hard. And after about 8 or 9 stages, my performance like nosedives.
Yep.
So that's always been something I've been trying to work on. I did really well at Area 5. I don't know what it is. I think I just kept up with all my like Pedialyte and like eating snacks stuff, and Lamar and you helped. So I think that's what got me through. But
I was your hype squad. I was stoked. I don't know if you've listened to any of your videos, but I'm screaming at the end of it. I'm like, what just happened?
I was definitely stoked. Definitely for sure. Especially, well, you know, it's sad now, but like after that first run on stage 1, everybody was like, yeah, Mike. And then it was like, you got to reshoot it. So, I definitely listened to all that.
That didn't go as well.
No. The most important thing is after that stage, like, and after the reshoot, like, obviously I was really, really bummed out after the reshoot. Like, I literally wanted to, I shot the whole match so well. And then after that reshoot, I was like, I just want to go home and like quit. Like, I knew I wasn't going to, I just felt like that. But then on stage 2, I was like, screw it. Like, that's behind you now. Like, you do what you can. And I shot like lights out on stages 2, 3, and 4. I think those were our last stages. And, you know, I still ended up doing very well. So.
And like, I won't say 3 is complex, but 2 had the stupid window off.
That you had to.
Yeah. We can. Yeah, those are hard. And to keep going, that was a long day.
It was. Yeah.
Okay, so like for nationals, I saw your post, and I know you're a little bit sad, but how did day 1 go for you?
Oh, like my nationals post?
Yeah, so like you had 3 days of nationals, right? So how did like the day 1 go for you?
Day 1 was my worst day. Like I said, I just shot 3 or 4 majors back to back with 0 mics, and then I had basically 4 mics on day 1 at nationals.
But you were in zone C, right? In the back.
Zone C, yeah. We started on zone C. The stages weren't like super crazy or anything. A lot of the target presentations were pretty difficult, but like it's not like the stages were like totally elaborate or anything like that. It was really just about execution and hitting your shots and everything. I got a mic on my very first stage of the match. Like it was the last target. It was a static paper, completely wide open. It was probably 25 yards out. But it was like after a popper activator and then a swinger. And then it was just, and I watched my video again. It's not like I was being very splitty on that target. I don't know what happened. I remember calling a low left Charlie. That's where my dot was. And then I must have jerked my trigger. So it took it out of the zone. And I remember looking at it, like pausing after I finished and looking at it and be like, I don't see that second hole, but like I'm pretty sure I called it, so I didn't take it. Get up there and I missed it. It's not a big deal. I allotted myself maybe 4 mics maximum for the whole match.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then the last stage of the day was that strong hand weekend stage. And like I said, I crushed it at area 5. Like my one-handed shooting is something that I've always hated, but I feel like I got very confident in it over the last few weeks. And you know, my strong hand especially has been like super like solid, I feel like. And I just got up there and I don't know what happened. I just got too excited, or maybe I just said, you know, this is a stage I'm gonna earn a lot of points on or whatever. And I missed the same target twice, once with each hand. It was the center array top target, missed it twice. And then on my weak hand, I missed it so bad that it hit the target below it and I got an extra hit. So I basically got like 3 penalties on it. And ended up like 60%, like 60 something percent on that stage.
Yeah.
Maybe worse after Super Squad shot it. I forgot to look, but.
Don't look.
Well, now I kind of want to look. My phone's right here. No, I'm just kidding. It is what it is. It's over and done with now. But like, I really like wanted to kick myself after that stage because it was one I was supposed to do well on, and then it looks good though. You know, it looks really good. So like when I post on Instagram, no one will see my hits. So
God, I will know and I will see. So every single time, by the way, I'm this person. Every single time I'm at a match and I like know how their stages went, I like go look up their actual practice where it's like nobody has the app, and I'm like, bullshit. What about those 3 targets you ran past? It happens a lot. I'm like, oh, you just want to be that guy where it's like, really?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But I was told that it looked sporty, which usually means that you kind of push the edge a little bit. And
right. So when you left the range that day, you know, and having to come back for day 2, like what did you do that night and that morning, like to just clear that out of your mind and go back to day 2?
I don't know that I really did anything that night. I mean, I mean, obviously I went home kind of bummed, and you know, I was trying to with my wife, and she was being, you know, super supportive and all that. Her name's Juliet. She's always supportive and everything, so it's good. But I think one thing, you know, after talking it out with her for 5 or 10 minutes, I just looked at her and I said, like, when we look back on this match someday, we're gonna say that day 1 was my worst day of the match. Mm-hmm. And I think that phrase is what kind of, like, I kept thinking that on the second day. And, you know, after I shot a couple of stages on day 2, I was like, all right, we're back in this thing. So, like, I was like, that's back on a roll, and just kept shooting it that way. And, you know, that's all you really can do. I think a lot of people were nervous on their first day of nationals. I watched even the Super Squad shoot their first couple of stages, and people that don't normally make mistakes made a ton of mistakes on that first stage. I know Siler wasn't super happy with it. I don't think he had any mics on stage 1. But he had a hiccup there, and then on stage 2 he got a mic, and like Siler doesn't get too many mics. So and then I saw a bunch of people like miss those 3 small mini poppers in the front. Like that caught up a lot of people. So
my tuxedo stage crushed a lot of hopes and dreams.
Oh, the one you were ROing?
Yeah.
That one wasn't too bad. I mean, you really just had to call your shots on the tuxedos. I don't think I made any shots on those, maybe one on the right, but it was just one where you just like, you don't want to take any makeups, you just want to get those hits.
Yeah. But there was a lot of mistakes, a lot of people that you wouldn't expect, even the stage next door. And did anyone even have a clean match?
I'm sure someone did.
I feel like someone had to have, but then I also don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, usually, yeah, I don't think so. I think everyone had at least one.
Yeah. So
I heard one. So
for day 2, you were in A zone, which had like the most points and the highest amount of points. So you really had to come back in that area, that zone.
Yeah, A and C had the same number, which was higher, like 30 points higher than B. I was actually the first shooter on our first stage in Zone A. It was on stage 3. That was like the one memory stage of the match with like all of the barrels back there and all the random targets. And I just like, I crushed it. Like I don't know what happened. I was just like, we're going to forget about day 1 and we're just going to shoot it. And I just shot, or I think I shot second actually after Ethan. But I just called all my hits on it, and it worked out really well. Didn't have any like mess ups or anything. So
nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then, yeah, so there were only 5 stages on day 1. Shot that one, and then 2 smaller stages, and then we went over to stages 1 and 2, which were also big stages. And I did okay on those. I think I started to get kind of tired. Like it was like 5 p.m. and there was like a 1 hour wait between like stages 5 and 1, and we were just sitting around for an hour. There was like some kind of hold up, And I was just like, I just want to go home at this point. And like, I shot stages 1 and 2 okay, but not great. Like I was kind of just like going through the motions a little bit.
I think, I don't know about you, but I feel like sometimes these matches leading up to nationals at least don't really prepare us for AM, PM, AM or PM, AM, PM or whatever, because every single match we ever shoot, well, maybe not you, but like for me, it's always going to be AM, 6 AM, 7 AM, 8 AM. It doesn't matter. 3-gun, USPSA. Yeah. Like you have indoor and maybe some other evening stuff, but like the daylight completely changes. You've got the sun setting in your eyes. You're not used to like coming in with a full stomach and then kind of lagging around until the evening, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually specifically why I chose AM, PM, AM. Yeah. And actually the PM day was, I mean, obviously day 2 was pretty good for me. So like it didn't really affect me. But I tend to like shooting in the mornings. I'm not even a morning person, but for whatever reason, when it comes to shooting, I just want to like shoot it in the morning when I'm like up and fresh. Like whenever I go to my Thursday night indoor matches at Hoover Tactical, it's after a day's work, and then I gotta go shoot the match, and I'm really tired. Like my first stage is usually not that great until I like start to wake up a little bit. But you're absolutely right. I think next year I will do PMA and PM because it wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. Last year my PM day was my worst by far. And I chalked it up to, like you said, not shooting as well in the afternoon. But I really think it's just because my buddy Chase and I downed an entire bottle of wine the night before on like day 1, and not because I wanted to, but we play this game where like it's called the Game of Life, and basically like he got me, and I had to drink like half a bottle of wine, and then I got him right after, like as he was gloating, I got him right after, and then he had to drink his bottle of wine. We just crushed it, and then we sucked it at the match. So. Pretty irresponsible for nationals, but back then it was my first nationals, and I was just like, having a good time.
Why can't I think of it? The vodka thing, the drink, what is it? Smirnoff. What is it? Ice somebody.
Oh, icing people.
Was that similar?
It's kind of like that. So basically, I shouldn't say it for everyone to hear, because basically you go up to someone and say, "Do you want to play the game of life with me?" So it lasts for the rest of your life, and like they just have to say yes or no, and then you explain the rules. But basically, it's kind of like if one of us calls Game of Life, like if I text him Game of Life and he's drinking something and he doesn't like mark his drink in some way, like, physically like tear the paper or something like that, then he has to chug that beer, like, or chug whatever he's holding. And he poured me half a bottle of wine in a giant glass and handed it to me, and then he Game of Life me. And then I don't know how he forgot, but he poured himself. I was like, "Oh, this is a really good wine. You should try some. Let me pour you some." And I handed it to him. He takes a sip, and I'm like, "Game of Life, bitch." So we both had to drink. We basically drank a whole bottle of wine.
Yeah. Ew. Okay. Oh gosh. So going back to, all right, day 1 and day 2, did you look at scores after those 2 days to know like what you really needed to achieve on day 3?
Yeah. I mean, I looked at the scores. Obviously, I think everyone does, right? You're kind of curious, but like, something you learn quick is like you can't look at the scores in a multi-day match and like get any real information out of it. Like, for example, after day 2, I was looking at my scores compared to Super Squad. So after day 2, it was, other than all the people that had already finished the match, it was Siler, JJ, and then it was like my buddy Ethan and me, above all the Super Squad guys. But you got to remember, they shot zones A and B, which again was 30 points lower. I shot zone C and A, so the 2 highest scoring zones. Plus, Super Squad hadn't shot zone C yet, so all of our scores were like artificially inflated because the Super Squad guys hadn't like taken some of those top spots. So you can look just to like kind of see how you're doing, but you can't really compare. Like it's all going to change.
Yep. So, anyways, how did you feel? So you landed 12th place. You look up the scores, right? And what nationals is this? First, second?
It's my second.
Second? Okay. Did you feel let down, or did you feel accomplished when you first saw
it? It was kind of a mix. It was only a mix because, like I said, my goal was to get Super Squad, and I told myself that I would have been top 10. So like obviously like I was a couple off, but I knew that like if I got 12th, 13th, or 14th even, there's probably still a good chance I make Super Squad next year anyway. Like some people drop out of the match, they don't want to shoot on the Super Squad for whatever reason. So I was like, I'm okay with that. But in the moment, I was watching Super Squad shoot their very last stage. So I was watching all the Super Squatter scores like jump up and like push me down one. And so after I shot, I was first or second place. Oh, I was second place to Bill Drummond again in the unfinished scores. So then Super Squad shooting their last stage, and like obviously Siler, JJ, Casey, all of them were already above me. And I was looking at everyone else's points, and I was like, all right, whatever stage they're on was X amount of points. So this guy will probably, like, Leaguer is going to beat me. Hyder's going to beat me. Like, all these guys are going to beat me. But there were a few guys that were like right on that line. And I was like, this guy may beat me or may not, depending on how they do on that stage. So I was like, looking at it, and I was like, it's very realistic that I get 9th place. I remember thinking that, like 9th, because I think this is the cutoff where they're going to stop like getting above me and pushing me down. And then I ended up 12th. So I was like, for a second there, I thought I was going to get 9th, basically. So
yeah. So you had your hopes up on 9th, but you had your goals on top 2025. So in reality, after all of that, then were you excited?
Yeah, like at this point, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with where I landed. I mean, 12th nationally, like in this sport is, I mean, those guys are just such good shooters. Like all those guys are just like killing it. And for someone, like I've only been shooting like 2 years. Like I said, like the first one I ever bought was, I guess, 3 years ago now. So for someone like me, that's still relatively new compared to like some of these guys I've been shooting for like 20, 30 years. So I'm pretty like, blessed or happy to like be where I am. But I had no complaints about it. Awesome. JJ commented on my Instagram and said, I expected better, but good job. And I was like, thanks, Dad.
Awesome.
No, I think he was like half joking, but no, I think I'm just gonna practice this year and do even better next year. So
nice. Yeah. So after 2021, like you said, you made a list. Physical training will be one of them. What else are you gonna work on for next year?
Okay, so I think that's a good question. I'm gonna keep working on execution and fundamentals for Open at least. I'm gonna do some speed mode again because I was so relieved when Nationals was over because I had just been like match moding and only shooting Open. Like I'm not a guy that like ventures out too much. I find my one thing I want to do and I get really good at that one thing. And like I'll try not to even like pick up another gun because I feel like it's gonna like mess me up. But now that Nationals is over, I feel like I can finally like shoot for fun again. Like not just other guns, but like I can actually like just run around like a maniac with my open gun in like a local match again instead of trying to get like maximize my points. But after I do that for a little bit, I'm going to try to build up my fundamentals a little bit more. There's just when I watch my videos, I can just see like all the little mistakes that I make. If I compare myself to like Christian or JJ, like there's like a misstep here, or there's like a half-second lull where I could have been out of that position, but I'm just like, for whatever reason, standing there. Like maybe I'm thinking I'm a reload or something. I want to clean all that stuff up. It's all mental. At a certain point, this game is like totally mental. I'm not going to shoot very much faster than I shoot today because we're humans. But what I can do is perfect all the other little things.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then I do want to start venturing out into other divisions. So my whole like only shoot
revolver. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think I'm going that low. So there's all these different nationals next year, and I think after watching people shoot, which one?
Two Gun.
Oh, Two Gun. Yeah, that'll be fun. It's in Colorado. I know Colorado's cool, but yeah, it's gonna be a long trip. And the nationals being 4 days is going to be it's a long that's a lot of time because that's going to be like 5-6 days that you have to take off work. And I work remote, so like it's easier on me, but like there are people that have to be at work, they just can't take a whole week off just to shoot like one match. So but anyway, I think after seeing people shoot low cap nats at CMP, I mean I live like 45 minutes from CMP and I never shoot any other guns, so I didn't even think about shooting the match. But watching people shoot that match, it looked really fun, and that's when I decided I kind of want to shoot like Lim 10 or something.
You know that? No.
Yeah.
You have to like count rounds, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at counting
mag pouches and like shorter mags and like all that, right?
Well, I have that single. I don't own a limited gun. I do have a single stack gun, but it's like a $700 Springfield
45.
Completely stock 45, and like I can't reload with that thing. Like I don't know if I have to like Dremel my mags or my like the bottom of like the mag well opening or whatever, but like I just can't. So like I think I like the idea of being able to shoot the same platform that I shoot Open in, I want to put a gas pedal on there because I don't know how to shoot a gun without a gas pedal. Like I don't. So I don't know where my thumb goes. So I need to work on that. And then I want to shoot some carry optics. I have my Shadow 2 with my with my dovetail mount, which I will get that milled eventually. And I'll shoot carry optics nationals here because again I live really close to CMP and it's going to be there, so I'll shoot that. Yeah.
Two gun.
I just want to, I want to shoot two gun. I basically just want to like diversify a little bit and just like broaden my horizons instead of being like a one-trick pony. I want to like, I feel like it's time to like start getting good at other things.
Well, you shot a little bit of three gun this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I shoot three gun whenever I can just for fun. I'm gonna shoot Fort Benning in like 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. It's gonna be my first major major three gun match, and I have like no expectations.
Okay.
The long range is gonna kill me.
What are you using your race gun holster?
Yeah.
And you're
shooting my SV. Yeah.
In a three gun match. By the way, it always rains. There's clay. Oh God! And then there's buckets that sometimes you dump your gun and it's full of water.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Like I said, I'm going for fun.
So fun.
I just don't think so. Like pistol is obviously my my one advantage in that match, right? Like I shoot pistol very well. I shoot rifles okay. Like shotguns, I've probably shot less than 1,000 rounds of shotgun in my entire life. Like that's the pistol is what's gonna hold me up. And if I can't shoot my like the gun that I'm used to shooting, I'm just not going to have like any advantage or like basically the strongest part of my game will be nerfed pretty hard. So I feel like I just have to shoot it.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it locks. I whenever I shoot three gun, I shoot my open gun. And like I've never had to crawl or anything like that. I don't think there's gonna be much of that at Benning. So, you think so?
We had a Skedco dummy. We had to crawl through a Cooper tunnel. There was under, over, and I mean it was. I'll send you photos. Pouring rain, clay, freezing cold. And the mud was because it rained so bad that by day 3, your feet were getting stuck in the mud because it's so much. And there's a tunnel that you had to go through and like slide your ammo can with your ammo in it to the end of it and crawl. It's no joke. And so those race holsters are just not conducive to three gun on retention, but you know.
Okay. Well,
you'll be fine.
You know, I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
It'll be okay.
I mean, you'll do better than I was. I just learned the hard way when I got a DQ and the pistol came out that I needed a hood. And that happened at Memorial with a couple dudes. Their pistol came out of their holster because they got caught up on something when they were running and they didn't have a hood. So
okay. I mean, obviously just hoping that doesn't happen. I'll try to be careful, but like I guess I have my Shadow 2. But even I don't have like a level 2 or 3 like retention holster for that either. And I mean, I guess I've got some time to get one. But like I said, I'm just gonna shoot my open gun and hope for the best. I'll try to be really careful.
Yeah. If you reholster, that's always just do it slowly.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try to like game like a half second, like trying to reholster it really quickly or anything. I'm just gonna like.
That's the difference in three gun. You know, like. We have hoods. Our draw is not as important. Getting through the 3-minute stage is important.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully there's nothing too crazy. And luckily I've never had it, like knock on wood, never had my gun come out or anything like that. The lock's pretty good on that thing. And it's like kind of in a position where it's hard to like get to, you know, like it's behind my like right hip. So like.
I can't wait. That'll be the most expensive gun on the entire range. And it'll be. I've never seen anyone shoot that. I love it. I got to see videos later.
Yeah, hopefully everything works out and I get to finish the match. So that'll be my goal, I guess. Finish the match.
Sorry. So going back to shooting, digressing again on USPSA side, I don't know if you felt this, maybe just me, but I felt like a lot of the matches leading up to it, they semi-prepared me for nationals. Obviously, I'm not at the level to compete, but like even locally, like I don't see partial swingers and half hip six swingers and all of these like no shoot swinger or the hardcover double swinger and all of that in a lot of these matches, even the mini popper 25, 35 yards. Do you think that these matches are like preparing people for this, or is that something you really have to put in the work in your home range?
I think target presentations, like I said before, at nationals are pretty difficult. I don't think most matches are like that. And it really just depends because last year's nationals, I don't think it wasn't at that level either. Like we didn't have like a double swinger with like the bottom half cut out.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of swingers this match. I think I counted I'm not gonna even say I can't remember. There were 20 something steel and like a bunch of swingers and whatnot. I think it's just something you definitely have to prepare for at home because swingers are kind of hard to set up at a local match. And like at our Brock's match, I want to set up more of those swingers and make them a little bit harder. But the equipment that we just have right now isn't great, so we definitely need to upgrade that.
But even the average shooter is not going to have access to a range with that equipment or even their own private property. I mean, the people on top have their own ranges, right? Like,
yeah,
shoot, I have my own steel and I can't bring it out because it's an insurance liability and I have my own insurance. It's a catch-22 because I think that a lot of the locals, you want to keep the people that just shoot locals there and be happy, but you really need to challenge the people that are going to go shoot these harder matches.
Yeah, so I run I help run the Hoover Tack match, and because it's an indoor range, you can only shoot one direction.
Yeah,
and it's on the 15-yard. I think we got like 25-yard like pistol bay, or like the pistol range. So it's kind of hard to make a complex stage when you can only shoot in one direction and you only got so much distance. So I've been making the targets really hard there. And like sometimes people complain and they're like, "Oh, Mike's just doing it to like prepare for majors and whatnot." But like a bunch of our friends there that shoot majors, so it's good practice for all of us. But like I'll do matches with like 15 targets, and only 2 of them are open, and then you'll have like headshot only, tuxedos, things like that. That's kind of how you like add the difficulty without being able to like push targets far out.
Or having all the contraptions. I mean, at some point, you need the timing of the clamshells and the drop turners and all of that, because But I like the harder targets. I think that's helpful. I like burner stages, right? But I hate burner stages all the time at all these locals all the time. It's like, that doesn't prepare me.
We're trying to get away from that. I feel like we have a lot of hoser stuff, especially in this area. And then when you go shoot someone like Manny's match in Florida, it's very technical. And it's just like, I remember I shot my first Manny match. It was Area 6 last year. And I was like, this is nothing like what I shoot at home. Yeah. And it's not that it was just harder. It was just had a different feel to it. So going to I feel like different match directors or stage designers have their own like style, like flair.
Oh yeah.
And it's good to shoot a lot of different matches from different areas just to get accustomed to everything.
So I learned that in 3-gun too. Like every state or every match director has their own flavor, right? But it like takes a full circuit. So once you go to Fort Benning, you can figure out Fort Benning for next year. And like once you go to the other matches, like you're not going to do that well because it's always going to be so different terrain, temperature, weather. Like it's all different.
For sure. Yeah. Once you get that experience down though, like at a certain point, like, you know, it all kind of like melts together and then you kind of just get comfortable in whatever type of situation that they give you. I definitely want to shoot Dragon's Cup next year. It was on the same weekend as Area 6 this year, but we heard that match is like insane.
Let's go. Road trip. No, Supervel takes care of them. Atlas is out there. I have to. Let's go to Dragon's Cup.
Yeah, I think like all
Dragon's
the guys.
Cup.
Yeah, there you go. I still need that shirt.
We have to go.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Speaking of locals too, like all of these matches, I feel like line up. Like locals, you can push your speed, push your whatever, and then you've got your area matches that like get your mindset right almost. And then when they're a couple of days long, then you can really get that duration under your belt. So how does all of that kind of add up to doing well in nationals or meeting your goals?
I guess, do you mean in terms of just like all of those matches preparing you for Nats, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I try to do well. I don't have a firearm that works. But I feel like, I mean, I did well at Dothan. I did well at Georgia, and I kept my head in the game for Area 5, even, everything that I went through. But the people that don't do that and put in the time, not just locals, but traveling, like that's a whole different game.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely a lot to it. Like it's the traveling definitely wears you out. I mean, even just driving back and forth like every day to nationals was kind of a lot. It's just I was kind of over it, and I hate driving, so it kind of adds up. But it's good to like get yourself involved in a lot of those things because it just like every little factor definitely plays into your performance, and I think doing that just helps you quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're asking. But.
Yeah. I have a question that you probably don't want to answer and you can't answer. I have 2 parts to it.
Oh, okay. Well, now I want to hear it.
Okay, so we already talked about the incident at Area 5, but I'm not talking about Area 5 in general. I'm talking about 2 things. Like, how do your friends, squatting with your friends, like people that are supportive, that that are there for you, how does that help your match? But little peasants like me who are on the lower scale, really, though.
No, don't say that.
No, but like, how does squatting with people, that can't push you, or that, you're not competing at that level, kind of hold you back in ways, in terms of, being on Super Squat, that's probably going to help push you to do better, right?
Man, that is such a good question. And I feel like I could probably speak for like 20 minutes about this question because there's so many like facets of it. But I'll try to dumb it down.
Level, so I feel like I want to know, and people probably want to know.
Well, I guess the first part of the question, how your friends help you. I think sometimes squatting with my friends helps me, but sometimes it hurts. And in some way that it hurts, again, like sometimes if you're just having too good of a time with your buddies, like I'll catch myself just like chit-chatting and not visualizing like I'm supposed to, and then I get up there and I'm like, shit, like I didn't visualize this like I should have. And so I just have to like walk away and like close my eyes and like visualize for like 10 minutes. So that can hurt. Another thing that specifically, and this is like nothing wrong with like anybody, this is just like the circumstance, but Ethan Howell was in my squad, and he's also GM. He's like the OG GM, we call him in Alabama. Like he's the guy that everyone strives to be like. He's a very good shooter. He placed right behind me at nationals, and I shoot with him a lot. And I know that he and I are always trading wins, right? So like he's like right, we're like right at that level, and when he's on one, like when he runs the stage super well, like he just kills it. It's insane. Like he is a very good shooter, and he's just so fluid in his movements, and whatever. So watching him shoot kind of made me want to it kind of made me be like, I need to do something to like keep up with him. Like I need to shoot faster, or I need to do whatever. But then I'll have to stop myself and say like, no, I can't do that. I just need to shoot my game, and like I need to pretend like he's not here right now. Like I just don't look at his scores, don't look at his hit factors or times especially, and like try to match that, because that's when I'm going to start making mistakes and then lose compared to everyone else that's shooting the match. Like I can't shoot my match to compete with one guy when I'm competing with 300 people. So that's one thing I had to keep like checking myself on, and I think I did pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But the other part of your question about shooting with like other people, like people I don't know, or maybe people at lower levels, I love doing that because it gives me a chance to like meet new people.
Yeah.
And it gives me a chance to kind of like, maybe show a couple things. Like I had a few people on my squad this year that were just asking me and Ethan questions, and it was cool to like give my perspective on that. One thing I will say is sometimes if you get stuck with someone that's not at your level at all, whether that's someone above you or below you, it's hard to gauge how you're doing, because no one else is like, I'm used to like comparing my times and scores with like Chase and Alex and like all the other guys around my level. But when you don't have that, I'll shoot a match and I'll be like, I don't know if I'm doing well or bad. Like there's just no benchmark for me. So that's one thing that is a little bit confusing sometimes, but I think I'll probably just end it at that. I think there's just a couple of thoughts.
If you see like the person, I do this, so you see the person that's been shooting that's at this high level, then do you ever want, maybe not nationals, but like at other matches, do you ever try to like push yourself to shoot like they are and compare yourself to them rather than shooting your game?
Like on the spot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like at locals all the time. Still remember specifically, I shot a match with Ethan. It was a local match at Moss Branch in Anniston, and we're on the last stage, and it was really close. And I shot right before him, and I shot it pretty well. And I was like, "Good luck, Ethan. You're gonna need it." And then and I shot it like 2 seconds faster than everyone else. It was like a 12-second stage. I shot it in like 10 seconds, and he shot it in like 8. And I was like, "What?" And I remember he like turned around, and just gave me this look, and I was just like, "Damn, all right, there you go." But sometimes it does. You do push each other, and he obviously was influenced by shooting. He knew that he had to like pull something out to win that match, and he did, and he won it. So yeah, that definitely happens too.
What do you think it's going to be like if you do or shoot with Super Squad, whatever year that is or whatever? What are you trying to mentally prepare yourself to be on?
I don't even know. Like it's going to be scary. Like that's all I've wanted, but I know it's going to be scary. I definitely the pressure gets to me sometimes. Everyone gets nervous. So I don't think I'm alone in that. But I was talking to Christian's parents at nationals at the awards ceremony. I was like, you guys are gonna have to be like my squad mom and dad for those 3 days if I'm on there, because like you're gonna have to calm me down because there's gonna like there's camera crews and the top 10 guys from the last year are there with you, and it's just there's a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. I do know JJ, and this was months ago. He was like, when you make Super Squad for next year, we need to plan our majors for the next year so you can get used to like shooting with like me. And I was like, that is like I'd want nothing more than that. So that was pretty cool. So hopefully we can sync up on some majors next year. But all these little things I think will help me prepare for that if that does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is putting the work in at home when you're not on the range look like? What is your dry fire routine?
Yeah. So I guess first of all, after nationals last year, I took like probably a month or so where I was like kind of on and off with my dry fire. But then when I was back into it, like I can count maybe less than 30 days where I didn't dry fire through the whole year. So I dry fire pretty much every day, unless I like shoot a live match, and I just kind of count that as my practice. But I'm always doing something with my gun every day. I try to do it for at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It's a lot of time. I mean, it's hard to dry fire for more than 15 minutes. I get it, but like if you think about it, when you shoot a local match, some people treat their matches as practice. If you shoot a 6-stage local match, that's like a minute of shooting, and it's 6 reps of like a stage, and you can do 6 reps of like a mock stage at home in like 2 minutes. So like if you're dry firing for 45 minutes every day, that's just like exponentially like it's that's where you get your improvement in. So I dry fire my basement, and I've just literally got like 20 to 30 targets like plastered all over my walls. Like the basement's it's my room. My wife doesn't go there, so I'm really lucky with that.
I didn't know Alabama had basements, by the way.
What do you mean?
Like Alabama, like Florida doesn't have basements. Why would Alabama have basements? It's
like a split foyer. So technically it is basement, it's underground, but like it's like a weird anyway, I get some privacy there, and I just have a bunch of, and I like make stages. So I like pick and choose targets, and I like make a stage. It's pretty quick. It's like a 6-second stage in dry fire, and I just run those. I just do like stand and shoot drills and accuracy drills. One, like I said, with my accuracy, one thing that helped me a lot, Jacob Taylor showed this to me, and it literally like changed my life in shooting, is when there's like for example, when there's like a paper target and then there's a no shoot under it, like you know how like the top of the no shoot usually goes to like halfway through the A zone on the body, like right up to that A. I used to just shoot like somewhere in the brown, and I was never good at like those tough shots because sometimes I would hit it and sometimes I would hit low and hit the no shoot. I was always scared of no shoots. But he was like, literally just find a spot, like the top of the A zone on the body, like that perf, just put a dot right in the middle of that, and that's where you aim every time. And if you can do that, then you're going to hit offers most of the time and get a couple Charlies above it. And I dry fired that for a little bit, and like now that's how I shoot every target. So that changed everything. But yeah, just working my fundamentals and working my movement and do that pretty consistently.
That's awesome. So I want to also know about your match mode, like your match director, running local matches, setting up local matches. Why do you do that? What do you enjoy about doing all of that?
No, nothing. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a lot of work. I think if I were to say one thing about it, it's a lot more work than you would think. And there's 4 of us. I'm a match director at 2 matches technically. So one is Brock's Gap. It's our outdoor match. It's our monthly outdoor match. And then every week on Thursday nights, I help set up for Hoover Tag. And just running a match is so much more work than you think. Like I know people like know that it's a lot of work, but it's more. There's so much stuff going on in the background. Setting up stages is the hardest part, and we are so fortunate that we've got a group of, the 4 of us plus usually between 4 and 6 other guys that consistently come out and help us set up those stages. So not only do we get different stage designers designing different things, so you get different feel on every stage, but I don't think we could do it without them, because setting up stages takes a long time. Like it takes a long time to set up a good stage, at least. At the end of the day, like we don't get paid for it or anything. Like it's completely volunteer, and I was the last match director to join. It was just the 3 of them at first, and then I joined last. And I did it because if we don't do it, then no one else is going to do it, and the match is going to die out. And like this isn't like a bash on anybody, but when I first started shooting, in this area, there was a match every single Saturday consistently. Like every single weekend, you would shoot some USPSA match, and they were all really good matches. But 2 of the 4 have kind of dwindled a little bit. Like life gets in the way. Sometimes people move away or whatever, stop shooting or whatever, and so now it's a little bit less consistent. I just want to bring that back, or I just want to maintain that at least.
Yeah. And this past year has been hard for all of the matches. I mean, again, I know I'm a 3-gunner, but like we've had maybe 3 3-gun matches this past year, and like for USPSA, they kind of switched it up. They added like 22 divisions, so then none of the classifiers can count. It's not a USPSA match. I'm not going to drive an hour and a half one way to go shoot for no score for funsies.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, I think like an hour and a half to 2 hours is kind of my limit. But like I said, all of those ranges are within an hour from me, so that was super nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully we start seeing those come back a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. What do you wish people knew about match directing and putting stages down?
I think what I wanted to say is it takes time to go get ice for your coolers. No, I'm just kidding. That's a shout out to. We forgot to get ice one time, and we still aren't hearing the end of it. And it was a couple months ago when it was still kind of hot, so people were like, "Where's the ice?" And that's like the one thing that everyone's harped on. And we still hear about it. And honestly, we meant to do it, and it was just a communication thing, and we didn't get it. But no, but that just shows there's so much stuff going on. Like you think that we just, we get there 3 hours early in the morning of paste all the targets, do all the steel. We have to think about how we want to present the targets. We calibrate all the steel. We have to put out all the paste. Like all these little things seem like obvious things, and then we have to set up the tablets and all that, do registration, and then if someone shows up 10 minutes late, you have to like redo everything and all that.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot that goes into it. So definitely treat your match director as well. They definitely put in a lot of work, and like I said, most of them don't get paid. They're doing it volunteer. So like, they're doing it for you. So,
What do you want to say to the people that don't register online and register day of 5 minutes before or the 10-minute before guy?
Just please don't. Please don't. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but like, the biggest thing for me is like, when I'm doing it, I've already shuffled. Like I've asked people like, hey, do you mind if I move you to this squad? Because there's 12 people on this squad and 8 on this other one. I want the match to flow smoothly. And then someone shows up like right up, 5 minutes before the match starts. And it's like, well, now I got to like figure out where to put you, and I have to add you to the tablets and do all that stuff. So it's something that everyone has to do. So like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm like complaining too much or whatever, but it's just another thing that you have to worry about when there's already so much stuff.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've had somebody walk around with their own tablet with just their name on it because
yeah, like you're ROing yourself.
Here you go. Oh man. Wrapping this up too, I wanted to talk a little bit about walking stages. I kind of skipped over this, but like for people that are new shooters or newer shooters wanting to level up, how do you like walk stages? Like what are you looking for? And how do you come up with that stage plan?
Yeah. So the first thing you want to do is like figure out where all the targets are. Like that seems obvious, but a lot of times you go up there and you start like walking. You go to the start position, start walking or whatever. Especially if it's a bigger stage, or like especially for a memory stage, you need to find where all the targets are first before you formulate anything. But then you go up there and then you start thinking about how you can minimize the number of positions and whether you can eliminate some positions, because every position that you add in a stage is just another spot where you have to like slow down and then speed up again, and that's just lost time. And I don't know if this is like super descriptive or whatever, but it really just depends on your skill level. So like your skill level and just your personal strengths. So like like I said, I'm more of like a hoser guy. Like I thrive on like fast shooting close targets. So if there's an option for me to like not lose too much time by walking forward and gain like 5 yards on a bunch of targets, I will take that. Yeah. Because I just know I will shoot better and I will actually shoot faster that way. If you're like a more of a long distance guy, then it might benefit you to like reduce your stage plan down to like two positions and shoot everything from the back, something like that. I think a good example of that was stage
with the 6 poppers. Yeah.
Oh, actually no, I did the opposite with that one. I shot all the steel from the back. But stage 16 was the one with 2 swingers in the front. it was the one we had to like shoot at the ground in 3 targets.
Yes,
Back left.
yes. Those fast swingers.
Yeah, so I started on the left. I shot the 4 targets, and then I went all the way to the right, to the back right corner, shot those targets, and then I went to the front right to the first swinger presentation. My original plan was, before I go to the back right, just stay in the middle back and shoot the whole like front left section from back there. But then not only were there 2 walls, so you had to like find your spot perfectly, and you had to like lean a little bit to see everything. But shooting from the front, it was a 5-yard distance, and those swingers are already kind of far away, and the paper and the steel were far away. And it's like, if you miss that steel one time and have to make it up, it pretty much eliminates your entire, like the whole point of shooting from the back and saving time. So I spent 1 more second to run to that far left corner and shoot everything from there, because everything's closer, everything is better, and it's only 1 second.
Yeah.
So, and I still, and that was my first stage, and that was the one I still ended up miking one in the static paper. So I guess that, you know, I undid all of the advantages I say I got from that, but like that was just my mistake.
It was interesting. Like for PCC, I shot the 6 poppers where you go to the window or the back corner. I just shot them from the back corner, but I went from limited major to another limited major to open minor. So
Yeah.
Do I?
I really wanted your gun to run that day.
I know, right? But the gun that I was using too, like it was okay at the bay, the 15-yard, whatever, side and bay, 10-yard. It was really close. So when I went to that stage, or a stage before that, I could not hit this freaking popper because I was doing the plan from the back. I was like, fuck. So then I had to go all the way up, just hit the stupid little popper. And I learned that the hard way, though, in a good way, because when I went to the next stage, there was a 6 from the top. I was like, I can't do this from the back because I don't know where the hell it is at 25 yards. I couldn't tell you. So yeah.
Was that are you talking about the same stage I was just talking about, or
no, you're talking about the stupid swinger long shot.
Are you talking about the one with the ammo can, but we didn't shoot it with an ammo can?
That's 18. No, I'm talking about the one where it was the Da Vinci sign. It had the 6 steel poppers, then you can go into the
yeah.
And I went to the window with the pistol with the open gun because I didn't know where it was hitting after not being able to hit the longer popper on the other stage. And then PCC I shot it from the back.
Gotcha. Yeah, I shot that one from. I just knew that the whole stage depended on getting that steel 1-for-1, and like I said, that's always been my weakness. So I just like forced myself to like do it, but I wanted to save that position.
Yeah.
And shoot it off from the back, but yeah, either way, whichever works.
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted your gun to run, and your gun ran at Area 5, right? Although you fell.
I'm trying to remember. I think it did.
It ran at Dothan too. You did pretty well at Dothan.
It ran at Dothan. I had to rack out 1 round on the shoot house.
Yeah.
Another. So here's my theory. It doesn't matter now, but at Georgia State and at Dothan, I had to rack out a couple of rounds. They didn't have primer they didn't have primer strikes and anything. I had cleaned that bolt and taken it out, and it was a brand new bolt, brand new firing pin, but the firing pin hadn't snapped then. It snapped here. Yeah. So I don't trust the bolt. The bolt's not taking a new firing pin, so I think the whole entire bolt's out of spec, and I think that's the problem the whole freaking time.
That sucks. Wow.
I'm
glad you did well at those other matches, though. You won something at Dothan.
Yeah, they're back there. I got High Lady. And I got PCCB class win.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, you got High Lady. There's only one High Lady, though. Like, I feel like they should have split it in 2, you know? Like, you shot PCC, right?
Yeah, I get it. People always hate the rifle shooters. Now I'm the rifle shooter.
They should have had one that was like High Lady pistol, and then one called High Lady cheater.
I was going to say, hold on. You got to choose the right gun. It's just like you shooting open. It's like, no, you just got to choose the right gun.
I'm kidding with you, but I do think it's funny that everyone gets so bent out of shape about PCC when open wins almost all the time.
Yeah, major power factor. It's
like open is more of a cheater division than PCC. Like I don't know what it is about PCC everyone hates, and I just think it's kind of funny. But you know.
Oh, I'm open curious hardcore, but I'm gonna have to get a reloading press, learn how to reload, and not blow up my hand. Now
I don't think you can. I don't think you can do it. I've seen you shoot, and I don't want you anywhere near a reloading press.
I actually reloaded in college. Yeah, it's too long ago. I could do 38 special or super comp and then have Ely load it, but that's
just shoot Ely ammo. Their ammo's really great. I shot Ely ammo at nationals, and I was super impressed with that stuff. Like it, being a factory loaded round, I was like, this isn't going to be as good as my hand loads. But I shot them side by side, and they're like sometimes it's better, like depending on the load. Like it's really nice. Yeah.
I just need a boyfriend that'll load my ammo for me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we've talked about this, and we've got a couple of candidates. We just need to make something happen.
Great. I'm gonna have people asking about this.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so last question for you, and you kind of touched on it before, but if Open didn't exist, is there any other shooting discipline? So it doesn't have to be USPSA, but is there any other shooting discipline or any other division that you would want to shoot and focus on?
I'd probably quit if there were no Open. Now that I've shot Open, I just don't think I could main any other division. Like I said, I want to shoot everything. I want to shoot care optics. Then I'm going to take the dot off and try to shoot some production, and then I'll shoot some like other iron-sighted stuff. But I have a feeling I'm going to shoot a couple matches and just want to go shoot Open again. We'll see. But I definitely do want to get some practice in. I don't think I'm going to shoot anything other than USPSA or 3-gun. I might shoot like a local IDPA match one time just to like. Well, I used to shoot. Oh, one thing I forgot to say this when you asked me about my first USPSA match. The first match I ever shot was an IDPA match when I lived in Delaware. Again, I didn't own a gun at the time. This was like in 2015, and I just randomly randomly wanted to shoot some kind of like match, and I knew they were out there, so I went to this IDPA match. There were like 40 guys there. Some were older, but some were like my age, and they had paper scoring, no practice score or anything.
Yeah.
And I went there and borrowed this really old dude's 1911 with like a leather holster. And I shot my first match ever. Like I have video of it. I'm super slow and everything, but I won that match. Like I literally won first place at it. And the guy when he was finished scoring, he turned around. I still remember the look on his face. He was like, "You just won," and I was like, "I've never shot a match before." So then when I shot that Hoover Tack match, I got destroyed, and I thought I was going to do a lot better. But I guess that kind of shows.
The guy that lent you the gun, was he upset that you beat him with his firearm?
I don't think he said. I don't remember if he said anything to me. Like I don't remember. I do remember one guy, literally, like I don't remember if it was on the show clear, but he shot the stage and he had a live round in, and like he turned around for some reason. And he literally just did a 360 and sweeped everyone.
What?
Yeah, so that was my first match. It was a shit show, but I did well. So.
Yep, that's not one. I haven't shot PRS and I haven't shot IDPA, but I feel like I need to do it and want to do it because I need to like tell people about it or how to shoot it and like just understand it.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to shoot some long range stuff because, like I said, I'm really bad at it. That's something I might do. But like the number of times I've shot more than 100 yards with any gun, I can count on two hands. I'm really bad at it, so something I need to work on.
It's fun if you know your barrel and you have a chronograph and you know your optic pretty well in your hold. You'll be fine.
I did that to prepare for bending, so I mean it's super easy. Every line is 100 yards, so I'm just gonna Are
you doing MOA?
I don't know.
I just realized that you probably. I can't laugh.
I'm sorry. I know this is gonna make me look really bad. I'm just
no. You're reticle. No, you're reticle. Does it have like 4 or 5 tick marks, or does it have all of the inches like a ruler everywhere?
It's just like a Christmas tree. I have a Burris RT6.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
But they make it really easy. Like I said, every line is 100 yards, so I just got to figure out how far those shots are, and then just use whatever holdover that I need to.
But you've chronographed your gun.
I did.
And you put that data in to confirm that.
I use Straylock.
Yeah.
Straylock Pro.
Yep.
So I use that, and it confirmed that everything, it's pretty much 100 yards.
That'll make it easy then.
Yeah.
It'll be easy.
And like I went out there to Brock's. We have like a 600 yard, like up to a 600 yard range for rifle, and I was shooting the 600 yard. I think it's like 550 or something, but hitting the steel pretty consistently with the IMI ammo that I have.
I love it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay. It was just, shooting during stage is obviously much different than shooting like on a bench sitting down. So.
Oh yeah, positional. They always make that fun. Mag choice is a big thing.
Yeah.
I saw someone in Open use the bipod, right? And he was going to shoot off the bipod, but his magazine was longer than bipod. So.
Yeah, there's all these things that'll come up, I'm sure, during the match that I've never had to deal with because I don't have enough experience. But like I said, it'll be fun. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm going with a bunch of guys that are really good guys that are. Dave Horn and Keegan, they shoot a lot of 3-gun.
I think Christy's on that squad. There's a couple other people. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Watch Taylor. He's a good shot. He wins a lot of the Altus matches.
Yeah, he is very good, very talented. Yeah. So they'll all help me out, I'm sure.
Love it. All right. Well, Mike, any final thoughts that you want to leave listeners with?
I just want to say, as someone that's again, like I guess 3 years isn't really new anymore, but someone that's kind of like newer-ish to the sport. Like I just like want to thank everyone because like I feel like this community actually is like really one of the best. And like when I first started, people were so helpful, especially like in the Birmingham area. Everyone was super super nice and super friendly, helping me get out there. And actually, when I moved down here a few years ago with my wife, and we didn't know anybody, so like I was hanging out with coworkers for a while, but like I need a hobby to do. And for a while, I was kind of feeling like kind of lonely. Like I didn't have anyone to do anything with. Like we would hang out, I'd hang out with my coworkers or whatever. But really, when I started shooting a little bit more, like that's when I found my core group of friends, and they really like helped me get through sometimes when I needed it. So I just want to thank all them, and I thank all the mentors I've had that have helped me through the way. I think I had a lot of really good mentors that helped me get to where I am today. So I wouldn't be there without them. So that's it.
Well, and then any shout out to your sponsors or sponsor?
Yeah, for sure. Hoover Tactical, I've mentioned them a bunch of times. They're a gun range and store in Hoover, Alabama. So if you're in the area, definitely check them out. Like I said, I got my first gun there, and then a year or two later, I'm now on their shooting team. So Kerry is like the manager there, and he's super awesome. They take really good care of me and my two teammates. So definitely want to shout them out and thank them so much, because I definitely wouldn't be here without them. Like they've made all these matches and everything possible for me. So yeah, thanks.
Love it. Well, Mike, how can people follow you on the socials?
On the socials, yeah, I'm on like most of the main apps. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My Facebook is just Mike Hwang, and then Instagram is also just Mike Hwang with no spaces or anything like that. I'm not on Twitter, but you can also type in Mike Hwang on YouTube, and a bunch of videos will come up. I don't think there's any other big YouTuber Mike Hwang, so thankfully for me. And then I don't think most of the shooting world's ready for this, but I'm on TikTok as well. So I think my name is it's Mar7, like MAURR7. So I'll post a video on there once in a while. But it's a whole different kind of app. So
you're a nerd. You should have been Lamar 007.
Lamar. I think I could change my name to it. I might do that.
Chase is gonna hate us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. This is a lot of fun, and I enjoy
super fun.
You all over the country.
Oh, sure. Like I'm super glad we get to hang out when we do, and I've actually listened to your podcast before, believe it or not. So you do super well, and I was waiting for you to ask me. I was like, I want her to ask me. She needs some diversity on this podcast, right? But no, I've been waiting for it, and I'm glad you actually asked me. It's been really fun.
Awesome. I'm glad you came on. Yeah, and I couldn't do anything without you and your friends keeping my gear together, my guns together.
Yeah. We do what we can.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on. And I'm expecting big things out of you for 2022.
I hope so. Same for myself. I'm going to try to keep it up, and hopefully we'll see some big things happen next year.
Love it. No pressure.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.